Have you ever gone back home from a long day of work and you're just so tired you can't even get into the shower, even though you smell like armpit sweat and ass juice? You kind of just crawl into bed and just fall asleep. It happens to all of us, right? It's just a normal part of life. Honestly, I feel like that analogy perfectly, or at least may perfectly reflect exactly what's going on with Mcfarlane right now, because every time I feel like he's doing some absolutely heavy hitter stuff, he's releasing some figures that people have been clamoring for years, he just gets really lazy and re-releases some stuff with just minimal effort. And I think it's definitely worth our time to go out there and criticize when you feel like things need to be criticized, and I feel like now is a perfect opportunity for that. Now, I don't feel like everything in today's video is bad, but I just feel like most of it is just incredibly lazy, and there are definitely other figures and other characters and other things that he could be releasing that make way more sense and probably cost him relatively about the same that he spent on these figures. So the first one that I really wanted to take down definitely has to be that Patina Edition Armored Kingdom Come Batman action figure, which is supposed to be a Mcfarlane store exclusive, which, in case you guys are wondering, you on top of that have to pay for shipping. Just keep that in mind. As far as I'm concerned, or the last time that I checked, you have to pay for shipping on anything unless it's like a wave. Sometimes he'll give you guys like a discount code to save a little bit of money on the back end. But as you guys can tell, I definitely have never ordered from the Mcfarlane toy store. Let me know your experience down below. I honestly have never ordered just because I hate paying for shipping. I mean, if you tell me, hey, buy this amount and you get free shipping, I'm finding a way to buy that amount just so I can get the free shipping. And look, I usually have no problem if Mcfarlane is going to reuse certain parts of a figure, like some forearms, some legs, maybe a torso, but when you're basically re-releasing the same exact figure in one boring monotone color, that's when I feel most collectors really tend to kind of speak out against it. We have seen him, for example, he did this with the Hush Batman, where he decided to release two different alternate color schemes for the Batsuit, but that didn't really cause too much of a stir, even though it wasn't based on the source material, because only one of the colorways was accurate. It still made sense, and even if they decided to re-release that particular figure in like a deluxe setting with extra hands, maybe an extra head sculpt and a wired cape, and you know, slap a deluxe price on it, I don't think that many people would be upset about it. But it's when he puts just the minimal effort into re-releasing a figure, I think that's when people really start to lose it. This honestly looks like something that belongs like in a World War II museum, or like on my grandmother's mantle. Like, it's just the most basic thing that I've ever seen, which leads me into the second figure. And look, I haven't played the Arkham series in quite some time. I think the last time that I actually got into it was maybe like a couple of months ago, but I'm kind of on and off. There's just so many things to do, so many different video games to jump in on. It's kind of hard to go back and replay something, but this definitely looks like something that you would unlock in the video game, like some sort of suit that you would acquire after a certain percentage of completion for the video game. What I don't remember are the accessories being that color, so that kind of threw me off. Now, I'm not going to say that I absolutely hate or love this. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. I don't like the fact that they decided to do this to a video game version of Batman, just because it feels like, honestly, you could have a million different variations of a video game suited Batman, because usually there are some unlockable suits here and there that for the most part just vary in color. But as I said, I don't remember the accessories being gold. I'm not sure if that's just a liberty that Mcfarlane took. And I guess it kind of fits in with the aesthetics of the figure, but they don't really fit in with the aesthetics of the video game, because the Arkham series has always been known for being gritty, kind of down to earth. And so these kind of like gold accessories don't really fit in too well. And I don't really see myself, even if I pick this figure up, which, like I said, not necessarily a bad figure, but it just seems like something that I'm not going to use. So like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. I don't think that there should be a SWAT team out there looking to bring down Mcfarlane and bring him to justice. It's not that big of a deal. But again, it's one of those other things where he decides to give you a repaint. The bare minimum that he could have done here is maybe thrown in some accessories that we haven't received, or maybe an action figure stand or a wired cape, just something that would add just a little bit of value to the figure. And to me, it just seems like it's just again another one of those really cheap repaints. Having said that, this is a phenomenal body sculpt. I absolutely love it, especially in this color tone. It really tends to bring out like that midsection of the suit, which I absolutely love. So it's not the ugliest figure in the world. It's just one of those things that, you know, may bother you if you're not a big fan of just really cheap and easy repaints. He also decided to release this Doomsday Kryptonite action figure. I have really no idea, or I'm not really too familiar with this character, and you know, I've kept up for the most part with the DC comic book universe, so this might have been a run here or there that I really didn't pay attention to. Honestly, it kind of looks like me when I'm waking up and I have gunk in my eyes, basically me before I clean off all the crusty stuff in my eye sockets. But honestly guys, it's another case of Mcfarlane reusing a figure to give somebody the most obscure version of all time. I don't understand why he didn't go for a classic Doomsday rather than a lesser known version of Doomsday. Me personally, I'm still waiting on like that first appearance version, which we still have not gotten. I'm not even that upset that he's still retooling that Devastator body mold. I think it definitely makes sense. As soon as we got that Devastator figure in hand, we were already wondering how he was going to retool that entire body mold and make it into a Doomsday figure, and that's exactly what he's done. I have no problem with that. That's kind of a really good reuse when it comes to the Devastator figure being reused for a Doomsday figure. But if you're going to re-release it using that old Devastator body mold, why not give us a more classic iteration of Doomsday? It's still mind-boggling to me. And I should also mention that I did see a few content creators that were supposedly or allegedly jizzing over this patina version action figure, and honestly I have to question that point of view. I mean, some of these guys honestly might just be looking for Mcfarlane handouts. I mean, I honestly don't know, and who knows, they may genuinely be interested in these figures, but I just find it very difficult to believe that people are jizzing or, you know, getting hard over these figures. They're just the most generic way of using or reusing figures. And there are a lot of people out there that just use the excuse of, well, that's just what OMs do. It's just something, it's business and things of that nature. But guys, we're a consumer base, and it's okay for us to be hypercritical of a line, especially if you've already spent maybe potentially hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the line. I don't think that there's anything wrong with you having very high expectations, especially when Mcfarlane has already demonstrated that he can release some very good waves, some very good figures that will add a ton of value to your display. He's given us some phenomenal new characters and some very deep cuts. So for him to revert back to these like it seems like every seventh figure is just an absolute throw-in, and so it's just very disappointing to see Mcfarlane resort to these type of tactics. Only time will tell if this is going to be a consistent trend from Mcfarlane, or if this is just kind of like some throw-ins here and there just to be able to like recoup some of the money that he spends on new body molds. Like I said, it doesn't really excuse Mcfarlane doing it, but I'm assuming that's probably the explanation that he would give the consumer base if they ever like confronted him about it. But anyways guys, I've rambled on long enough. I know people tend to just say that I just talk too much. There's too much saliva being spilled, so I'm gonna end it there. If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to let me know down below. Hit the like button, let me know your thoughts. Very curious to see what you guys have to say about this whole situation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.